Rise of Berk has always been a cherished game of mine, but the quality of it just keeps going downhill. I think the start of the decline is when the dragon level cap increased to level 175 in March 2021. This level cap did nothing unique besides making it even more grindy and pointless to do. What made it worse was making dragon training cost only iron and a ton of it, thus making wood less relevant and fish painfully more in demand. They also increased the number of fish feedings you had to do from 5 to 6 to level up a dragon starting at level 150. To put in perspective, Toothless takes 12 billion fish to go from level 174 to level 175. Indeed, an uninteresting game mechanic of causing a slog of a grind. After a few months, it was announced that Ludia had been bought by Jam City in May 2021, a company known for their predatory monetary practices. It has been evident there are more and more mechanics added to the game that are increasingly anti-player friendly. Just about a year later, in June 2022, after Jam City obtained Rise of Berk, they added the Ascension chamber, which is a RNG gacha style game mode where you trade scales for a chance to pull the special prize. To get scales, however, requires ascending dragons to the hidden world to get their scales. But I just think that you're killing them for their scales. Ascending dragons gets rid of a dragon forever. I welcomed this mechanic because previously you could only release dragons for raw amber, and eventually late game you would have more than plenty of raw amber to trade for with Aerith. It helped give duplicate dragons from calendars and events a bit more of a use rather than just being annoyed at not getting a new dragon. I think it's a decent game mode because you're eventually still guaranteed to get the main prize, albeit it takes a lot of scales if you're not lucky. So far, Jam City doesn't seem that bad, right? Think again. In September 2022, there was a new update which added onto the Ascension chamber. It was called Elusive portals. Similar to the Ascension chamber, you sacrificed dragons and got scales, except you had to ascend a certain dragon species in order to get a new currency called Elusive scales. And to top it off, they were time limited to about 2 weeks for some people and even less for others. And yet the players who had a shorter timer also had to ascend more dragons to make sure they got the prize guaranteed. What was even harder was that getting dupes of a specific dragon species and ascending dragons only gave you half the elusive scales you'd normally get ascending a dragon. It is very difficult to complete these portals and has led to hoarding of dragons for fear of an elusive portal appearing. This is especially difficult to those with little to none storage space. Overall, elusive dragons and their respective portals are near impossible to get without spending runes on speed-ups or buying dragons out of the Book of Dragons to ascend for elusive scales. To give an example, I spent 15,000 runes for a portal dragon, which is a lot of runes, but I'm a completionist, so I will do anything to get a dragon, of course, except pay real money. You shouldn't have to spend a crazy amount of runes for a single dragon though. Thankfully, elusive portals don't occur frequently. Only 4 have occurred since this video. In the same update, seasonal exclusive dragons were added to the seasonal market in packs you can buy. Seasonal exclusive dragons are exclusive to the month they appeared in and have an abysmally small chance of actually dropping from the packs. The chances of getting a certain seasonal dragon is 1% or less. older seasonal exclusives at least have a higher chance of 2.5%. But even then, it's not guaranteed, and you have to wait a year till they come back. This was truly devastating for the community because you have absolutely no control over getting a dragon. They also were only able to be obtained from packs. You couldn't buy them from the book to finish your flocks. This marks where my interest started sloping off. Because of RNG determining whether you'd get a dragon from the seasonal packs, it made for a very unsatisfactory reason to even log in daily to get your Viking duties done. The odds are so awful that I have gone multiple seasons without getting a single seasonal exclusive dragon. A game that doesn't respect your time is no good at all. This same formula of releasing a new dragon flock each season, then turning almost all of them into seasonal exclusives, has proved to be an incredibly bad and unfun mechanic. You can only hope you'll get them because otherwise you have to wait till next year when they appear in packs again. It also makes completing the Book of Dragons a joke because you're so against the odds it won't ever happen. Many people who play this game have completing the Book of Dragons as a main goal, and with that out of grasp, there's no sense of satisfaction. Moving onwards to March 2023, probably the most offending update yet, is where they added the Grand Alpha Premium Pass. Quite a wordful that I'll just shorten to Grand Alpha Pass. The normal Alpha Pass costs $10, which is the standard monthly cost anymore for mobile games on the market. However, the Grand Alpha Pass is $40. 40 stinking dollars, and keep in mind there is a season every month. Therefore, if you were to buy a year's worth of it, it would cost you $480. Money that very well could be used elsewhere in more important things or rather better entertainment of one-time purchases you don't have to worry about renewing. The rewards are pretty lackluster too. The pass also boasts about having an extra slot in the Dragon Academy, a mechanic that was actually bugged and didn't work for the first few months of them implementing the system. So really, you could say it's false advertising. Imagine spending that much money for it not to work. I'd be furious. The price of the Grand Alpha Pass isn't even the worst part. The worst part is that it paywalls a item. Most of the time it's a dragon, but it was once a statue that laughably only boosted a single dragon stats, which was Baby Dart, when they could have given it a costume. Normally, statues boost an entire dragon species, and what doesn't quite make any sense is how the devs didn't think to make the statue to instead boost the Nightlight hybrids, especially since there are both baby and teen versions of Dart, Pouncer, and Rough Runner. So paying that much polished amber for an individual dragon boost is pretty awful. I'm a firm believer in being able to obtain items and games free to play with enough time spent. So seeing dragons and items 100% paywalled is arguably the most disgusting thing wrong with this game. And now we're at present day, which hasn't seen much more changes since the Grand Alpha Pass, and I hope they don't add more ways of squeezing money out of the player base, or other ways of making the game unfun with a grind. I'm not sure why I keep playing. It might be because I'm stubborn, or because I've just been playing for so long I can't let it go. Either way, it's a pain. There are many other problems wrong with Rise of Berk, but this video was intended to focus on the hungry monetization and decisions the devs of the game chose in rather poor taste. I hope you enjoyed the video and my explanation on a game that I've been sad to witness the deterioration of. Thanks for watching and have a good day.